Okay, moving on, we'll be moving to the fiscal year 2021-22 Traffic and Mobility Commission Work Plan, the final draft, and being presented by Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Vice Chair Perez. Yes, I'm Nathan Schmidt, Transportation Planning and Mobility Manager. And this item is of course, the fiscal year 2021-22 Traffic and Mobility Commission Work Plan. So this is a return from last month. So the recommended action for this item will be for the Commission to approve the fiscal year 2021-22 Work Plan for submittal to City Council. And then we would also like you to discuss and appoint a specific commissioner to represent the Traffic and Mobility Commission at the City Council meeting. So as mentioned earlier, the draft was discussed at our last meeting on May 3rd. Sorry, that should be 2021, of course. The Traffic and Mobility Commission indicated support for the plan pretty much as is, but with a request for staff to provide specific timelines for the development and implementation, really an action plan for all the work plan programs and projects that have been identified in the work plan. So with that, staff has taken that step and we've provided timelines for each of these important work plan objectives. These are all based upon really the current staffing availability that we have and our project demands. So for this next portion, I will quickly go over kind of a few of the key elements of those, just running through a few of those. So first, in regards to updating the Traffic and Mobility Commission on the Advanced Signal Timing and Coordination Program, we anticipate that being conducted sometime within the upcoming next spring of 2022. The next program is the Traffic Impact Fee Program Update. This is an update, but actually this is a very substantial update. It's really a new traffic impact fee program. The last update was done over 10 years ago at this point. So really in need for a new fee, entirely new fee program. The timeline that staff is proposing for that roughly is first step for that will be to issue an RFP or an RFQ and to select a consultant that will lead the development of that study. We anticipate that being ready by the end of 2021. Then beyond that, once we have a consultant on board helping us develop the plan, we anticipate approximately a 2-year planning process with completion in approximately November of 2023. Now that process would involve extensive public outreach. This would be, like I said, a new plan. It would be a very innovative plan in itself. The City of Carlsbad has lots of moving parts, that would need to be folded into this plan. It would require analysis and cost estimates for essentially all of our major transportation projects. We would have to figure out how we fold in the city's various requirements in terms of multimodal level of service analysis, our traffic impact our traffic impact analysis guidelines, which we are working to update, as well as our TDM and VMT requirements would all need to be included in this fee update plan. So it would require a significant amount of work to do so. Next element is the Sustainable Mobility Plan. So as we discussed when it was adopted, staff does intend to bring that back to the Traffic and Mobility Commission on an annual basis. We are proposing to do that in February, just providing an update to the Commission on what's been done and what we intend to do over the next year for each element of the SMP. The Local Roadway Safety Plan. So that is, of course, the citywide systemic study of collisions throughout the city and identification of those countermeasures. We anticipate wrapping that up sometime this winter of 2021. The Citywide Transportation Demand Management Program. So with that, we are focusing specifically on 2 elements, being the TDM handbook and the TDM ordinance. We are proposing to bring that to the Traffic and Mobility Commission for comment by this year, September of 21, to provide an update to the TDM program. The Transportation Impact Analysis Guidelines. We are currently working with the ad hoc committee on updating the TIA guidelines. We are proposing to have this adopted by City Council. That has not been done before. The TIA guidelines were not previously adopted by Council. but we are proposing to do that by the end of this year. Multimodal level of service, another ad hoc committee that we are currently working with, hopefully getting near to the end of the completion for that. So we are slating to have that completed by this summer of 2021. The vehicle miles traveled analysis guidelines, or VMT. We are proposing to present that to the TMC for comment in fall. We've been running with the VMT analysis guidelines for a year now. So I think staff and the rest of the city has kind of seen how it's gone. We're proposing to bring that back to the commission for an update and get your comments this fall. Safe routes to school and the related mobility projects along with that. So those are projects just improving the general mobility conditions around our school sites. Those would be presented to the Traffic and Mobility Commission on an ongoing basis, and we would definitely be ensuring that all school-related projects go before the commission, because we do understand the importance of those. And that's the general overview of the projects. If you do have questions about some of those I did not mention, we can get those into, we can address those in the question and answer section. With that, so the next steps will be for the Traffic Commission to approve the work plan and identify someone to participate in the City Council meeting for that. The City Council meeting is scheduled for July 27th of 2021. So with that, the recommended action is again to approve the fiscal year 2021-22 work plan for submittal to City Council and appoint a commissioner to represent the commission at that meeting. So with that, I will take any questions or open it up for discussion.
Mr. Schmidt, what was the date again for that the presentation? Is it July 27th?
Yes, July 27th.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions, comments? I have Commissioner Lanke. Anyone else? Commissioner Lanke.
Thank you. Thanks again to staff for including the requested timeframes, and there are a few other revisions. And while I would like things to go much faster, I think for the most part, the timeline is, I guess, reasonable, but with one exception, and that's the traffic impact fee program. And so I just want to give like a few minutes of repeat some background that I gave a year ago when we went over this, and just take like 3 minutes here and then ask a question at the end about the timing. The next slide. Okay, so I just wanted to let everybody see what the municipal code actually says about this program. And so this chapter imposes a developer fee to pay for various traffic circulation improvements within the city. And then this is my own emphasis here. The City Council may modify the designation by amendment to the resolution at any time. It is the City Council's intention to review the designation of circulation improvements and the amount of the fee on an annual basis. Okay, so when it says designation of circulation improvements, that's referring to the list of projects that should be in the traffic impact fee program, and then determining the fee that's appropriate for that. So our municipal code has us updating the traffic impact fee program on an annual basis. In reviewing the improvements and the amount of the fee, the City Council shall consider, among other things, any changes to the land use designations or intensity of development, changes in the amount of traffic generated or anticipated, inflation, and increases in costs of materials and labor. And part B is this chapter is necessary to ensure that adequate circulation facilities are available to serve the city in a manner which is consistent with the city's general plan. Without the circulation improvements, which will be funded by this fee, the circulation system of the city will be inadequate to serve any further development in the city. Okay, so that's what our municipal code says about the traffic impact fee program. Next slide, please. All right, and here's the traffic impact fee program as it exists today. It was last updated, not on an annual basis, but in 2008. Okay, and this first slide shows a listing of the street segments that are on the traffic impact fee list and their estimated cost. Slide, please. And here's a list of the intersections that were placed in 2008 on the traffic impact fee program. Okay, next slide. And then finally, there's two additional line items in the traffic impact fee program. One to complete sidewalks where they're missing. And interestingly, the last one here is for a transportation management and monitoring program. So a program to facilitate TDM strategies to annually review effectiveness of the TIF improvement program and to facilitate annual programming of TIF funding. Okay, so back in 2008, the city council included as this last item the fact that they were going to review TIF funding and TDM strategies on an annual basis, and it hasn't been done since then. Okay, next slide, please. So this is my own summary. The annual traffic monitoring program that we currently review each year, and that's where the city shows the letter grade for level of vehicle level of service. That is supposed to be used to identify problems and future problems, to identify street projects that will mitigate those problems, which basically to me hasn't been done, much at all. An example of that is the College Boulevard extension and other like final street projects around the city that we're finishing up as we go into build out. But now as part of the traffic monitoring program, we're exempting a bunch of streets because we can't meet level of service based on their build out configuration. So in that case, the general plan says we need to use TDM based programs to mitigate that. And that could include things like mass transit, shuttles, rideshare programs, and pedestrian and bicycle improvements. Next slide, please. All right, so if you go and look at the video from that 2008 City Council meeting where they did that program update, where they gave us that list on the TIF program that I showed you earlier, several members of council were disappointed that they had waited so long since the previous update, which had been done in 1991. The mayor at the time, Bud Lewis, lamented the fact that without adjusting the fees, later developers and average taxpayers would have to disproportionately cover the costs of projects in order to stay compliant with the growth management plan. And council members also expressed concern and said that they thought the TIF program should probably be reviewed in detail at least every 2 years to keep it properly updated. But here we are in 2021 and it's never been done. And next slide, or is that the last slide? All right, so then in August of last year, we voted unanimously to advise the council to expedite an update of the TIF program, I think based on the same things I just presented, because I presented a similar presentation back in August of 2020. And a few weeks later, the council unanimously passed a minute motion to do that, to expedite the update of the TIF program. So, and it might just be because I'm naive about things, but I'm a little disappointed that I think we're further pushing it off. At last I heard that by the end of 2022 we were going to have something, and now I see that it's in the proposed new work plan that we're not going to have a consultant even begin looking at it until the end of this year, and then it's going to take them 2 years, and then who knows how long after that. So it's going to be 2024 or beyond before we can even start collecting fees to fund projects. And I'm just hoping that there's some way that we can, ask the council again to expedite. And I guess my question to staff is this really how slow things have to work? And is there something we can do to convince you to, agree to try to expedite it? And those are my comments and questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Linke. Any comments or?
Yeah, Commissioner Linke, I think you bring up some great points as always. We of course would like to expedite it as well, but just given the amount of work that needs to be done, to do so, since it's been so long and since the city has had so many updates since that last update. That is, I think that is a very aggressive, honestly, it's a very aggressive timeline. I think even with the 2 years. I myself, just given, the available resources we have now, I don't see pushing it any faster than that. I think these are all fair reasons that you could bring to city council when you do make that presentation to them, because, I do understand the importance of this update in collecting fees to build out our infrastructure. But really, I do think that it is, a realistic schedule at this point for updating the TIF.
If I might add something, commissioners, also everything, I support everything that Nathan had said. 2 additional points I wanted to highlight. We've searched throughout the nation for other agencies that have updated their TIF programs, and really there's not been many updates for any municipalities out there that we could really use as an example moving forward, focused on MMLOS type of improvements. So we're going to be towards the cutting edge of developing this program, and we want it to be really well vetted. We want a lot of input into our new program, because once we adopt it, there's going to be other agencies looking at it, ready to adopt it ASAP or something similar to use this as a model. So the example I'll use is the challenge that we've had with MMLOS. So we're working through that, and commissioners, those that are on the ad hoc committee, I greatly appreciate your work on that. But establishing these new programs when we're on the cutting edge of the development takes a lot of time, and we would just want to make sure that we're adequately vetting the project so we get a product that we can all be proud of, and that's that we can use. So just wanted to add those comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Lanky.
I guess I'm also curious if there's a response to the, to the slides I just showed, where it talks in the municipal code and council actions that these updates should have been occurring annually or biannually. And I guess a related question then is, instead of, let's say we do this big overhaul of the entire TIF program, which obviously is necessary, is there not a way to do an incremental update in the meantime? For example, there are, programs that could be funded, or College Boulevard extension, or, whatever widening projects are remaining to be done till we reach build out. Why can't we identify the projects that we already have on our CIP, including some TDM things? Why can't those be included in an incremental update, but then simultaneously, yes, we need to overhaul the entire thing because it's 13 years old, and it's going to be 15 or 16 years old by the time we actually get that overhaul done.
Commissioner, that's a good comment, and we'll take that into consideration.
So if no one else has any comment, or when they're done, I would have a motion to make.
Any other comments? No. And there's a motion from Commissioner Lanky.
Yeah, I would move that we support staff's recommendation, with the exception of recommending to the city council that an incremental update to the TIF program be included ASAP, as soon as possible, for projects that are already on our CIP project list.
Do I have a second? Moving forward, if we don't have a second, then
I think Paz wanted to say something.
I just, if there was a second and there was going to be a vote, I was going to ask for clarification with regards to the incremental TIF. But if there is no second and it does not carry, I will bite my tongue. Thank you.
Any second? If not, this will be waived. Okay. And Commissioner Pence, are you? Okay. All right. So motion is not will not be approved. So do we have any other motions? All right. If someone can, council, I'm not sure if we don't have a motion, does this not move? Does this go back to staff?
Yeah, normally this comes up in the event of a tie vote, but basically if there's no motion, there's no action, and the matter remains before the commission. There's just no action taken.
So then our next, Commissioner Fowler.
Yeah, I'll move it to accept the report. I'm trying to look at the item. And I locked myself out, sorry.
Nate, excuse me, Mr. Schmidt, can you repeat the staff recommendation?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the recommendation is to approve the fiscal year 2021-22 work plan for submittal to City Council, and then for the commission to appoint a commissioner to represent commission at the City Council meeting.
So I'll move, also move.
Also second.
Second, I hear that. Motion made by Commissioner Fowler, seconded by Commissioner Hunter. So we'll have a vote for that.
Commissioner Wanamaker is absent. Commissioner Linke,
No.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Pensiers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Yes.
Vice Chair Perez,
Yay.
Chair Goken is absent.
With Chair Goken absent and Commissioner Wanamaker absent, I have 4 yeas and 1 nay. So the motion passed. And to add that, we need to set a person to attend the July 27th City Council meeting for presentation of this. Anyone? I would be more than happy to, or honored to attend that 27th if unless, well, I'll do that, and then if Chair Goken wants to, but I will set myself for the 27th of July.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
Do we need to make a motion, or is that just, I think we're set?
I'll move that what he said.
I'll second what he said.
I see council nodding and said yeah. So motion for myself, Commissioner Perez.
It was easier than I thought.
To attend the July 27th City Council meeting to present the information. That from Commissioner Fowler, seconded by Commissioner Hunter. We'll take a vote.
Commissioner Wanamaker is absent. Commissioner Linke,
Aye.
Commissioner Fowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Pensiers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Perez,
I abstain. I however it is, yeah.
and Chair Goken
You
is
can vote for yourself. It's
absent.
okay.
Yeah, you can vote.
You can
Sure,
vote.
yes, absolutely, with 100% confidence, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Let's take a break, Vice Chair.
yeah, just so the all yeas and with Goken and Wanamaker absent. So let's take a biological break or a break for 10 minutes. So let's reconvene at 5:25, 10 minutes. And calling this meeting to a pause. Okay. Thank you.